Hi, my name is Donald, and I'm 69 years old. This Thanksgiving was supposed to be about gratitude and family, but instead, my daughter-in-law turned it into a military operation. She handed me a list for 30 guests, ordered me into the kitchen, and treated me like her personal chef. That's when I quietly took off my apron, grabbed my bag, and walked away, leaving everyone speechless. Before I tell you how walking away from Thanksgiving dinner completely changed my life and taught my entire family a lesson they'll never forget, I want to hear from you. What would you do if your family treated you like a servant instead of a loved one? Let me know in the comments, and also tell me which city and country you're watching from so I can thank you personally. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true stories like this. Thanksgiving used to be my favorite holiday. Growing up in a small town, we didn't have much, but we had each other. My father worked double shifts at the mill. My mother sewed until her fingers bled. But when Thanksgiving came, we made it special. We'd crowd around a tiny wooden table, eat turkey we could barely afford, and share stories until late into the night. When I married Helen, she became the heart of those traditions. She had this way of making our home warm and full of life. She'd hum in the kitchen while stirring gravy, sneak extra marshmallows into the sweet potatoes for the kids, and insist that everyone share what they were thankful for before we started eating. When Ryan and Claire were little, they'd sit on the counter and help mix batter or taste test pie filling. Thanksgiving wasn't just a holiday, it was family magic. But 5 years ago, Helen passed away. My world fell apart. That first Thanksgiving without her was brutal. I sat at the table with her empty chair across from me and felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. I almost stopped the tradition altogether, but Ryan had said, "Dad, Mom would want us to keep this going." So I did. Every year since, I cooked everything myself, all day, every dish, because it made me feel like Helen was still with us. I never complained, never asked for help. But this year, something was different. 1 week before Thanksgiving, my daughter-in-law Emily called me. "Hi, Donald," she said, her voice brisk. "I just sent you the guest list. We're having about 30 people this year. You can handle the cooking, right?" I blinked. 30? That's a lot, Emily. I'm not sure. "You'll be fine," she said, cutting me off. 3 turkeys, double portions of everything, and of course your pumpkin pie. Everyone expects it. I hesitated, waiting for her to say thank you, but she just said, "See you early Thursday morning," and hung up. I sat there staring at the phone, my heart heavy. For years, I had done this because I wanted to. Now, it felt like I was being assigned a job. The night before Thanksgiving, I loaded up my car with groceries and drove to Ryan and Emily's house. When I walked in, Emily didn't even look up from her phone. "Good, you're here. The potatoes are in the pantry, all 15 pounds. You can start peeling." I paused, waiting for some kind of warmth, but she just walked away. By 10 p.m., I had brined the turkeys, chopped vegetables, and prepared the casseroles. My back was aching. My hands were stiff. Ryan sat in the living room watching TV. When I finally sat down with a glass of water, Emily said, "Don't sit too long, we still have the desserts to prep." Something inside me cracked. The next morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. to get the turkeys in the oven. As I basted the first one, Emily came in with a clipboard. "Make sure the rolls aren't overcooked this year. They were too brown last time," she said, without looking up. I froze, the baster in my hand. "Excuse me?" I said quietly. "You heard me," she said, already checking off her list. "We want everything perfect this year." I set the baster down, slowly untied my apron and placed it on the counter. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I'm done," I said. "You can't just quit," she said sharply. "We have 30 people coming." I looked her straight in the eye. "Emily, I'm not your employee. I'm here because I love this family. But if I'm not treated like family, what's the point?" Her face turned red. "Donald, stop being dramatic. Just finish what you started." Instead, I grabbed my bag and walked out the door. Outside, the November air was sharp against my face. I stood there for a long moment, my heart racing. Then I got in my car and drove, not home, but straight to the airport. On the way, my phone rang. "Ryan! Dad, where are you?" he demanded. "Leaving," I said simply. "What do you mean leaving? You can't just walk out. Everyone is expecting dinner." "Then you and Emily can figure it out," I said. "I'm done being treated like the help." "You're going to ruin Thanksgiving," Ryan shouted. "Maybe it needs to be ruined so you understand what it's supposed to be about," I said before hanging up. 2 hours later, I was on a plane to Florida. As the plane took off, I looked out the window and felt a strange mix of guilt and relief. For the first time in years, I wasn't cooking, stressing, or rushing. I was free. Thanksgiving Day, I sat at a small beachfront cafe eating grilled fish, watching the sunset. There was no chaos, no clipboard, no yelling, just peace. Back home, chaos reigned. Emily texted me later that evening. "We had to order takeout. Everyone was shocked you weren't here." Ryan called again that night. "Dad, we messed up," he said. "We treated you like staff, not family." Emily and I stayed up late talking. "We see now how much we took you for granted." I didn't reply right away. I wanted them to sit with the discomfort, to feel what life was like without me doing everything for them. 3 days later, when I came home, Ryan and Emily were waiting on my porch. Emily looked pale. "Donald, I'm sorry. I thought you enjoyed doing it. I didn't realize how much work it was or how much pressure I was putting on you." Ryan added, "We turned Thanksgiving into an event, not a family gathering. We forgot about Mom, about what it meant to sit together and be thankful." I studied them for a long moment, then nodded. "Next year will be different." And it was. The following Thanksgiving, when I arrived, Ryan was already carving the turkey. Emily was stirring gravy, and the grandkids were setting the table. They handed me a glass of wine and told me to sit down. For the first time in years, I spent the day relaxing, telling stories about Helen, and watching my family laugh together, not from the kitchen, but from the head of the table. I realized then that walking away last year wasn't selfish. It was the only way to make them remember what this day was truly about. What would you have done in my place? Stayed and cooked or walked away like I did? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories about respect, family, and standing up for yourself.